PSI-LORDS number 8, and one thing that was already brought up in the live chat was that Valiant and Blowfish Studios are going to be doing some video games together, but we have so little information about that. Do you guys have any idea what it might be?
It sounded like there was no information about that, other than just that there is a partnership. The weird thing to me about it was that news broke that that Valiant had a partnership with the video game producer of some sort, and then people were just like, "Oh, it's the early 2000s again, it's the Acclaim era again," and it's odd because this is one of those things that people have been asking for and chiming in about. Like, what are those things that Valiant can do that people want? Oh, people want video games so bad. Valiant gets a deal to do video games. A lot of bitching and moaning. I just thought it was really odd.
That's what you have to expect, I think. You know, there's always going to be that degree of people who have something negative to say no matter what. I mean, it's not always the same people, though. You know, I mean, the people that have something negative to say about that might be totally positive about the movie, and the people that are negative about the movie might be totally positive about other stuff. So, I don't know.
I think that we're getting stuff. That's kind of the important thing, is that we're getting things that we can enjoy, and hopefully it can get better. Like kind of like the show, it can only get better. Sorry for the audio issues. If we give you a bunch of great stuff now, then we're screwing ourselves later. So, you know, just set your expectations low so you can be, you know, impressed later on. So it's the way we kind of rock it sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. We're getting more Valiant content. I think we've all been saying forever, like, we want action figures. Well, guess what? We just got, some of us, I didn't, but some of us got Bloodshot. Oh, I'm so jealous.
So pretty. So pretty. So I got 2 of them. Another one up here. It's gorgeous, and it was a surprise. I thought it was February, and then, like, one day it says you're getting it tomorrow. So thank you.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people who were saying that they got notifications saying that the release date got moved up on those. That's awesome. I haven't ordered one yet. I might not for a bit. I'm just gonna wait and see. I'm trying to save up what I can for Emerald City, so possibly I'll get one at the show. Who knows? We'll see. But I gotta get one. Gotta have one for my collection.
Yeah, I had to pre-order it immediately. Like, I could not wait.
What's the back of the packaging look like, Hooser?
Looks cool. Looks like this. I mean, I'll just show you. My bad. So it has that from the book, the novel that's going to come off. The you know, there's that novel that's coming out in February. It's basically similar art to that, and then on the side you have that's the cover from that. The cover that's going to be on that novel that comes out. It's related to the movie, and then it looks like the same style of art, little different angle. And then,
pretty sweet.
Yeah. So it's pretty solid. I thought this was interesting. If you guys look at the top here, it says 14 plus, not a toy, and then it says it in a couple different language. But this is not a toy, people. So not a toy. So it's not a child.
Action figure.
You know, it's very much like that movie Toy Soldiers. You know, where, like, you know, the thing's gonna come to life and just wreck shit around your house. So it's not a toy. It's in a package for a reason, people.
Yeah, don't let it out. No, that's awesome. I'm supposed to get mine tomorrow, so I can't wait. I'm pretty stoked about it. Yeah. And then we got news about another comic book that's coming. Another comic book is coming. We're going to be getting a crime noir, which I'm pretty stoked about. That's a favorite genre of mine.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. You know, so this has kind of been one of those things that's been hinted at for a long time, especially if you've gone to conventions. And like the last year, you probably heard Heather make some kind of mention of it, Heather Antos, because this is something that she was spearheading. She's not writing it, but it's just kind of like her project that she brought to Valiant. They have not announced who the creative team is yet on it, but it seems pretty cool. You know, I mean, like Eric said, you know, it's crime noir. I like that stuff too. If you read stuff that Ed Brubaker writes, a lot of the stuff is in that genre, like criminal, good stuff, great stuff.
Yes.
Dude, absolutely. She hinted at this at Emerald City Comic Con last year, and she talked to just about some of the things that she's doing. So it's element that we haven't seen in Valiant yet. Is this more crime noir? Looks like it's set in San Francisco, and I believe when we get little teasers like this that are a little bit more detailed, I kind of feel like this is possibly what's going to come out in solicits in a couple weeks. We might see this as our April book that's coming out, and yeah, I'm interested to see what teams connected with this, and I mean almost like everything we have. I mean we're still waiting for that tie-in for Britannia. How does this connect with the bigger Valiant universe is kind of one of the things that almost always happens, but it doesn't need to be. But it's nice when it is because it's a little fan service, but it doesn't need to be. So yeah, I mean there's plenty of room to play in this big world that we live in. So
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I totally agree. This doesn't have to tie into the larger Valiant universe. I mean, I'd be happy if there were like just mentions of things going on in other cities, but that's all you really need. I mean, it can, and if it does tie pretty directly into other well-known characters, established characters, then that's cool too. Either way, though, I think we're getting something new, we're getting something fresh, and that's what Valiant needs in order to continue to grow as a universe, to continue to bring new readers in, and to continue to keep us interested. Because as much as people say we want the same thing over and over and over again, that's going to get boring no matter what. You know, it can't all be the same thing, and you know we've got new people bringing new ideas, and I'm on board. I'm totally on board, especially crime noir, man. Crime noir. Final Witness is going to be a crime noir book, and whoever the creative team is, I'm super excited about it.
What if it's tied into Britannia?
That would be amazing if it tied into Britannia.
It's another detective.
That would be amazing.
There's your connection. Have these two connect and be done.
Yeah, you know, like what Eric was saying though, like I feel the same way about stuff where it's like I love the older characters. We pioneered for them to get books so much on this podcast. But I do want to see the universe grow and expand. I want to see other things happen. I want to see different takes on characters or even just different types of stories. We haven't had something like this, so I think this is really exciting to have. And yeah, make some mentions, you know. But the one thing I do hope is that I know there's a couple books getting ready to come out that have creative teams that people aren't as familiar with. Quantum and Woody, I don't think a lot of people are familiar with Christopher Hastings. Dr. Tomorrow, I know I'm not familiar with the writer previous thing working on that book. So I'm hoping with this, and being that it's something that's one of Heather's projects, I hope that we get some creators on this that people are familiar with. It does get things a little bit more exciting when people find out that it's like their favorite writer on a book. You know, and I think sometimes like we're playing such small ball with creators, and they're doing great work, but people just don't know who a lot of these people are right now. So I'm just kind of hoping for a bigger name on this. That's just my own personal opinion on it.
So here's what I have to say. Like, yes, it's awesome when we get those, like when we get a known commodity like Cullen Bunn or
Jeff Lemire, the best writer in the world right now.
Jeff Lemire. But look at some of the writers that you know, started at Valiant. I mean, Robert Venditti wasn't. I mean, nobody really knew who he was. He had written a couple of things, and then, boom, he writes what I think a lot of us consider to be the best long-run Valiant has done, and it obviously is it must be because it's the longest by an enormous amount. And you know, I think there are a lot of writers like that. Like I had no idea who Matt Kent was when he started writing for Valiant. But he wrote some amazing stuff, and he continues to write amazing stuff. So I think that bringing in a known commodity would be great, but I think if we get somebody that I've never heard of before, I'm totally still on board for it and ready to give it a chance, you know? I mean,
yeah. I think for me, though, a lot of that feeling is that with the way sales are right now, I know that sometimes when you can get a little bit of a bigger name, it does tend to bring their fans into the fold. And that would be nice. It would be nice to see a Valiant book sell a little bit better than Valiant books have been selling lately. That's my only point with that.
Sure.
Yeah, it does bring in new fans, which is also great. And, you know, I think it's a good mix that we got going. And, yeah, whatever it comes to it. I mean, we did get spoiled with our, you know, Lemire days and stuff like that. But we also got Seeley, who's been around for a while right now. I mean, we've had Dan Abnett. We've had some great writers. And then Bunn likely on a Shadow Man. is kind of what I'm figuring is what's happening. Is Colin Bunn going to be likely on Shadow Man? And he's a great horror writer, and that's supposed to be a horror book. So it's supposed to be really dark. So that makes me excited. So yeah, whatever comes to it, let's see. Give it a shot. I know one of the new books that's pretty much brand new. It is an old acclaim. I'm excited for it. We've all read Dr. Tomorrow, and I think we all enjoyed it. And that one is brand new. So, and what is it? I'm brain farting on his name right now. He was a former editor. He's not much of a writer, Alejandro, who's writing Dr. Tomorrow, and it was fantastic, guys. So I think giving the guy a shot is amazing sometimes. Yeah,
I'm really curious to see how people react to this book because it is a newer property from back in the olden days, and a writer that people aren't familiar with. But I thought it was a really fun book, and we'll get to talk a little bit more about that when it does come out. We can't get too crazy on it just yet.
Yeah.
But we've been lucky to see a couple issues, and it's a pretty rad book. It's not up there with, like, say, Dysart's Harbinger, okay? But it's pretty good. It'll be a pretty fun book to read, and I hope people like it. It is very much a superhero book, though.
Yeah.
Which is not something we get a whole ton of. But this one is very much a superhero book. So if you want to see a little bit more of that in the Valiant universe, this is right up your alley.
Yeah, and it seemed natural having this kid jump in the way it did. So I love the connection. I do want to give a shout out to the people on the chat right now. One of the guys, the comic board is Blackpool. He's a guy who's got a little YouTube channel too. He has been on Hoodoo as far as being on the chat before. So give them a shout out. And then, of course, Scott Bloom. We got Connection to the World. Thanks for jumping on, guys. Everybody who's jumped on, thank you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate people interacting with us. And like Scott said, seeing Dr. Mirage consult in a Final Witness story, I think that would be cool. That's the kind of thing that, like, okay, for this part of the case, I'm going to go see what she has to say, and then we're going to move on with the book, and she doesn't have to be in every issue. I think that would be cool. I like stuff like that. Like we got in, as we'll talk about PSI-LORDS, that Exo Manowar and Colonel Capshaw appearance. I think it's cool when you get that tangent, the tangential relationship. Like it's just sort of related, but they're not totally together. It's not the same. It's not an Exo Manowar story in a PSI-LORDS story. He just happens to be there. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I totally get it.
But speaking of books that are really good, because I totally agree that Dr. Tomorrow is amazing, but speaking of books that are really good, have you guys read, we got an advanced copy of Quantum and Woody #1, and that, I'm really curious if you guys read it and what you thought about it. Obviously, we can't get into spoilers or anything, but...
Later this month, we can talk about it, though, a little bit more deeper. And we might even have a guest on for that episode. We'll see.
He might
possibility.
He might piss in the shower. So.
No, I did a review. I wrote a review of Quantum and Woody 1, and it's a Quantum and Woody story. So if you like Quantum and Woody, I think this is going to be your jam, and it's really enjoyable. I like Quantum and Woody a lot. Mm-hmm. So, for me, it's always like, what's not to like? But I know that with our fan base, sometimes that's one of those books that's a hard sell with some people. It is a little bit too silly or too super heroic, but it's fun. It's a good book. It's another just wild adventure for the Henderson brothers.
I could say it's one of my favorite Quantum and Woody issues I've read. I mean, there's been some good ones. Like, I liked it a lot. So if that tells you, I thought it was really good. I thought it's going to be a fun ride with Hastings, and then. Like, I think we've all talked about Brown's art being perfect for this book. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun ride. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a lot of James Asmus' run too, though. But I guess
same.
I'm enjoying it a lot. It's one of the better ones I've seen in a while. So for Quantum and Woody.
Yep.
So to me, the standard that a Quantum and Woody issue needs to match in order to be good for me is I have to actually laugh out loud. If I don't laugh out loud, like if it's not funny enough to make me laugh out loud, then it's probably not going to be a good Quantum and Woody story. by the end of this issue, I was I was laughing pretty hard. So I think they're this is setting up such a great story. It's perfect peak Quantum and Woody. I'm not familiar with either of the creators on this. I've liked what I've seen so far, and then this issue, yeah.
You
gotta read curse words, man.
You need to read curse words, dude. If you like a laugh out loud comic, I recommend that. Highly recommend that book. It's pretty well done. It's pretty smart, and looking like a big middle guy would be perfect for you.
Yeah, you know what stinks about this is like us talking this much about it. It's like we can't really get too deep into it right now because it doesn't come out for a few weeks. But yeah, there's definitely like some actual like literal like laughing at this issue that you could do. There's so many great moments in it.
Yeah.
So just a couple more weeks.
Yep.
But the book we can get into, PSI-LORDS number 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers from here to forever.
You've been warned.
Yeah.
Warned.
So hopefully.
It's the Dark Victory.
Connection to the world. Hooser was recommending curse words. Curse words.
Yes, curse words. Ryan Brown
Came out from Image Comics.
just ended.
Yeah,
I think it had 4 or 5 arcs. Solid book. Why am I brain? Charles Scholl. Charles Soule. So good book.
So PSI-LORDS number 8. Hopefully everybody's read it. We did get revealed not that long ago that this was going to be the last issue of this series. And I think that's the first thing that I want to address. Like, what did you guys think of this as the last issue of the book? Because to me, it did feel like the closing of a story.
Yeah, totally. Like, this issue definitely had, like, this is the end of, like, a second act. Here comes the third act kind of feel to it. Because it has a really good ending. And I felt like I've had issues in the past with PSI-LORDS being a little bit confusing and just really offbeat. And I felt like this was a good issue to end on. If this is where it's going to end, and who knows for how long it's going to end, they did a good job in making things pretty clear about how things kind of are going with these characters. So, yeah, I mean, it stinks that it ends. It actually, like, when after I got done reading this, I was like, oh, man, you mean to tell me, like, this is going to be one of those books we don't know when this is going to get, like, anything more to happen with? I mean, I guess, like, there's nothing too crucial going on with them just yet. But it kind of sucked.
I think, I don't know, I have a big issue with PSI-LORDS, the whole book, with pacing. I think that's been my, looking back at, after reading all 8, has been pacing. It was, the prison break went too fast in the first issue, but the story and the little plot pieces that we were getting were going too slow. And then this last couple issues seemed like they were finishing all the way to 12 in a couple issues. What was originally supposed to be 12 issues. So it did seem like it was like really quick in this last couple issues. So I think that's, when you initially have it written and plotted and you have it basically paced out to be 12 issues and you shorten it 8, it kind of messes with it. But it felt like the first arc could have moved the plot a little bit faster. Pacing. I do wish it would have kept going because I did enjoy the last couple issues. I didn't.
That pacing issue reminds me very much of Wrath of the Eternal Warrior, where that was one of the big complaints too. Is people didn't like the pacing of that first arc, but then people really liked the book, and I do think that there is definitely like a pacing issue with this, which is too bad, But again, like. It always stinks when you have these kind of endings with a Valiant book because it's always like, when do we get to see this pick up? When are we going to see another hint of the PSI-LORDS even exist outside of this last issue?
I really hope that we get more.
It did say at the end that they would return.
So
yeah, everything says that.
You guys anybody want to go in and summarize what happened in this issue? Kind of give it.
Yeah. So the book starts off with Artisan getting split in two. And so you're just kind of like, what the hell? Like, he gets killed. And so kind of like to save their own bacon, they kind of call in Raven Rock. And then they realize that they are what keeps Raven Rock kind of locked up. And he can't escape without their permission with how their powers work. But then Hazard gives permission, and Ravenrock takes over her body and then basically splits. And so at that point, somehow Artisan comes back to life, and then they become Star Watchers. They get sworn in as Star Watchers or whatever, like in some weird like ceremony. And then they're going to come back, you know? They'll return.
So just to clarify, Hazard, so they all had pieces of Ravenrock in them. His consciousness split up between them. And they wanted to let him out in order to save Earth, basically, from this star that was going to go nova.
Yeah, Milo.
Right. And so Hazard let him out so that he would bring Artisan back. So that was like the trade-off of him getting released from their bondage or whatever. And then he let the rest of them keep their god powers and basically pieced. Yeah. Just like, I got some shit to do.
So some cool things I thought about this, like for one, like there's mention of a couple of the older Psy-Lords from the 90 series. So we get mention of Aisha and Grawl. Aisha was a scout. Grawl was a bastion. And so that was cool. Also, when Ravenrock takes over Hazard's body, her look changes. She's almost got like a superhero costume. Mm-hmm. And then right there on her chest is the old Psy-Lords symbol, which is very reminiscent of the hardcore symbol. So I thought those were two really cool touches to this issue. Kind of cool nods to the past.
And they basically make quick work of the main guy that we saw in the first couple arc. Whatever his name was.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, but he just gets wiped out really quick, and who also has the Psy-Lords emblem on him. And then it was interesting seeing Hazard also turn into that yellow from Psy-Lords from the old 90s run. The skin color changes. Mm-hmm. She kind of looks just like it with that red outfit on it. And yeah, so I mean, it went Scion. Thank you, Scott Bloom, on the chat. Got us there. They made quick work of Scion. And basically, they joined the Star Watchers, which is an interesting catch to what's, like you guys have said, what's going to happen next, where are they going to be. I see that we can maybe see them in an Exo Man-O-War, kind of throw it in there when he's in space somewhere, or, I don't know. I'm curious to see how we expand these guys and maybe have something more come of it and see what may happen with Ravenrock with his huge power, so...
Yeah, because he's so powerful. Like, you can't just leave that guy out there, like, doing nothing. And I think that's one of the problems that happens sometimes with these books when they end. Like, I think a perfect example is Harbinger Renegade, where the Alpha's still out there, and he's supposed to be so powerful, but no one's seen him for a couple years, and so who knows what's going to happen with Ravenrock. Right. But Ravenrock is cool. Like, I really do like the character in this book. He's just got such a cool... otherworldly look about him. Something about him just kind of really rings with me, I guess, But like if you look at that image right there where it shows all the little Psy-Lords just sitting there floating right by his penis area. We already had a discussion about that.
His junk?
Yeah, his junk area. But no, like I just think like he's so like he's got such like an omnipotent feel about him. Yeah. So I just hope that we don't wait a whole long time, like 3 or 4 years down the line to see what comes of this.
Yeah. No, what I did want to say though is that I actually feel like this is a good place for the story to take a break. This 8 issues felt like an origin story, and now we are done with the origin story, and I'd like more, but I understand why this is a good place to stop, and then maybe we can get more down the road. But yeah, I thought that moment with as Hooser said, making quick work of Scion, I thought that was great. The way that Ravenrock just made him into ash and disappear. Like, yeah, that was great. That was a really fun moment.
He got like
because that character sucked.
He got like the Thanos effect
Yes.
he snapped his finger and turned him to powder,
But he may come back because they've killed a couple of them and they've came back to life, which is probably
That's
the
true.
thing I don't like about this book. Because I think like most of them, Beacon's been dead before in this. I think Hazard was dead once before, and now you have Artisan who's been dead. I think everybody but Tank's been dead in this, and they've came back. So that's kind of the thing I don't like it. What consequences are really being played with here? I mean, it does show into their powers too that they're godlike creatures. They're godlike lords, right? So yeah, so it's a hit or miss on that when it comes to that.
One of the images I really like that keeps popping up is the one where when they're fighting the guy at the beginning and his suit breaks, and she makes a comment, or one of them makes the comment that the guy looks like he's like a pudding man. I like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good way of Fred Van Lentine just injecting like a little bit of humor into the issue.
I think that's been through the whole series.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no, I'm not saying it like that. Like we haven't had anything like to laugh at with it. But I just thought like with this issue, like that was like I thought the funniest moment of it.
Can Fred do a book without cracking a joke?
Do we want to do a book without cracking a joke? I don't know. Like War Mother, I don't think his War Mother series had any funny stuff to it.
Yeah, we had some creepy little kid in the corner the whole time. That was
kind of weird.
That was kind of funny.
But I don't know. I don't know if that's funny.
In a dark, weird humor way, it was funny.
Oh man. No, I think he pretty much always throws some humor in there, and I like that a lot. Yeah. I think this is a solid book, and we haven't even touched on the art. I think that Renato Gaius is so consistent that you kind of take him for granted a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it looks great. I like the way his art changed, or maybe the way he colored it. His art gets colored with this issue. Like early on in the series, it looked one way, and now, however it's looked since like issue 3 or 4. I really dig it. I dig how it looks a lot. Hooser's comment that he's done in the past about the facial expressions, totally agree. They do kind of look like they only have a couple, and that's about it. But he's a solid artist. I like a lot of the covers.
Yeah.
I think there's one I don't like. I can't remember. But they're pretty solid on this one. There's just two. I think one thing that's kind of been lame with this series, and this is something that's a little lame with some of the Valiant covers right now, is that so many of them just look like pinups, or they could just be put anywhere on a book. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual issue.
Right.
Because like if you look at all of them, like a lot of them are just like the PSI-LORDS flying through space, or like a headshot. And it's never them fighting like the bad guy, or in the grasp of Raven Rock, or any of that kind of stuff. And I think that's one of the things that kind of bums me out a little bit right now of like the covers in general, is just that sometimes they don't look like they really pertain to the book. Right. I don't want to really knock on PSI-LORDS for it, because I think it's like across the brand a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do hope at some point there's a little bit more of a feeling that, like, when you pick up the book, like, you can look at the cover and be like, oh, I kind of get what's going to happen in this. They're going to face off against this guy, or this kind of moment is going to happen in the book, which I just don't feel like you get that from these covers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't think there's much argument to be had there.
They do look nice. They're all great art.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also agreed. Scott Bloom is saying, like, it'd be cool in the next arc if Divinity helped out. And I do think, this is something that we were talking about before. I think it'd be awesome to have those, like, little connections. And Divinity doesn't really like getting too involved in stuff. So it would make sense for him to maybe, like, point him in the right direction. Or, have as little involvement as possible while, knowing, like, because you would hope somebody with Divinity's powers would know if the whole universe was at stake. And so Divinity could be like, okay, these people can take care of it, and here's what they need to do.
Well, there's also Casimir. He's out there somewhere in the universe. So,
oh, boy.
Yeah.
And he was awesome, too. So
yes.
Maybe they have a run-in with him for a couple issues.
Or Divinity
I'm
Jr.
down.
comes out of the unknown.
Yeah.
All for it.
I'm totally down. I would love just another Divinity book, but if we don't get that, then Divinity involved in PSI-LORDS would be cool, because it would make sense. And like Hooser said earlier, XO could fly through, on his way to somewhere else, and who knows? I don't know. Just dreaming, I guess. But But this book is really, really solid. I think that a lot of people have said that these last 2 issues have been the ones that have really gotten them into the book. And I really can't argue with that. I mean, I think that that's definitely where I've been too. I think I've been on board with this book the whole time, but I do think these last couple of issues have been really good. It's really hard to score this one. I'm going to go with a 4.25. I think that it is a really good book, and I kind of want to score it higher than that, but I don't think I can. It's solid.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little bit lower. I'm at a 4. I think it's a solid ending. I thought there was a little bit of clarity on this issue that I haven't had with some of the previous issues. And maybe the overall problem with this is, to me at least, and maybe Hooser would feel a little bit like this is with me on this one too, is that maybe this shouldn't have been 8 issues to get to this point. Maybe the storytelling should have been changed a little bit just to get us like 4 issues that got us to this point, and then we could get on to something different. I do feel like it just maybe took a little bit too long, but it's been a solid series, I guess. I think with the way this has ended, I could probably reread this and things would make a bit more sense to me, or I would have a little bit more understanding of how things are going to play out based on that.
It's exactly what I was gonna say, Josh. Is kind of hindsight, right? Knowing what I know now, would I have enjoyed the first 6 issues more? Because I did like 7, I did like 8, and so that's kind of the piece of it. At point, I felt like it lost me in a couple issues, just because it was a lot going on really quick, but yet so little bit of the plot was actually given. The breaks were happening. There's like lots of big things happening, but they were in the big scheme of the plot. They were very small. And so I do, like I say, pacing was my biggest issue. This issue alone was good, but I think I'm going to be right there, like 3.75 on this, kind of where I felt like, and I might be judging a little bit too harshly on number 8 as far as the whole, but this was the final, the ending of it, so I think it puts on a lot of it. So.
Yeah, I think it was overall. I think that this would make a good, collected volume. I don't know if you could do like a hardcover because it's only 8 issues. I guess you'd have to have a ton of extra content, but
well, they did that in the first
Valiant has made smaller hardcovers.
Yeah,
that's true. They've done like the Valiant as a hardcover,
Secret Weapons and the first Faith
sure.
mini.
Yeah, Divinity.
Sure, I've got Secret Weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Oh,
now
good.
screw it. Forget what I said. Yeah, this would make a great hardcover. I really do think that this would make a great hardcover.
I think the first Dr. Mirage was 8 issues too.
Sure. Yeah. So I think that would be awesome. Because this does feel like a contained story. Like obviously there's more that can happen after this, but it does seem like a complete story. So yeah, a season finale, like Scott said.
I like that Scott Bloom said that he thinks that they'll be back next year. That would be okay if we got them back in 2021, or at least we got some kind of continuation of the Raven Rock story. I'd be okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we see Fred Van Lente back on another Valiant book? I'm not so sure how his last 2 that were set to be ongoings have actually panned out. Both of them got canceled early.
Yeah, I mean, like his Gen Zero kids got butchered, and this book hasn't been quite as well received. It's too bad. If he doesn't come back, like I would get it, because maybe these last 2 books have kind of soured him on the experience. But I've always liked his writing for the most part. I like Gen Zero. I don't love Gen Zero, but I liked it. And this has been okay. So if he came back again, maybe something a little bit of a different setting.
Archer
something
Armstrong.
A little more easy. Archer Armstrong. Yeah, put him back on Archer Armstrong.
Yeah. I would read his. I would read him doing Archer and Armstrong again.
Yeah.
I like
for
it.
sure.
So.
Well, even like I know we're gonna have a different writer on. We're gonna have Dennis Hallam on EXO, but even like if you put Fred on something like that, I think that's a little bit more to his strength. But
sure.
Or Time Walker.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's a few things I think that if you put them on, it'd be like, okay, that's cool. Like that would work. That'd be exciting,
Right.
And I think for a lot of us, this was something that was exciting because it just took so long to happen. There was so much talk of it happening for like a couple of years. There was like a teaser in one of the free comic book day issues. So we're like, when's it going to happen? When are we going to get this? And then it was finally announced. It's like, holy shit, finally, we're finally going to get PSI-LORDS. And then, it might not have been great, but I don't think it was like terrible. So we'll see. Come back, Fred.
Yeah. I hope Fred's back. I could see him doing just about anything. I think that he's a solid all-around writer. So regardless what book it is. But speaking of looking forward to what can happen, what is going to be happening? What do we got next week?
Well, we also have Solicits had the trade of Killers out today too. So that trade that we all enjoyed as one of our surprise books of 2019, that trade is out. I don't like the cover art compared to all these John Boy Myers covers that he did for that whole series. Not that this one's bad, it's that John's were that great, but those are those pinups that we were just complaining about too. So
but his art is awesome though. Like he is such a great artist.
It's amazing.
Pinups are okay as long as the art's good.
That's right. But no, I do think like that those covers, his A covers looked awesome.
Absolutely.
As long as this cover is not that bad. I think it's a lot better than any of the Will Portacio covers that were on the pre-order editions.
Yeah.
I did not like any of those, and I've actually I was a big fan of Will's growing up, but I just don't think he worked very well on those.
Right.
So I think that this cover looks awesome. I think it's dynamic, and it shows what you're going to get in the book. So
it's true.
I like the cover. KI6 Killers, great book. Absolutely great.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to see those characters to come back. I mean, those were ones that were, they're going to be back again. Well, I want to see them back, hopefully in 2020. I don't want to wait till 2021 to see these characters again.
Even though their power set is less than the PSI-LORDS, I like them a lot more than the PSI-LORDS.
Sure.
But preference. Next week, 2 small books for Valiant are coming out. They're kind of small.
2 little ones?
Yeah, Ride number 3 and Bloodshot number 5. Yes. Dude, absolutely. These have been... I'm excited for next... I'm excited to when we get the preview copies and when we get to talk about this next week. I'm pumped for this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think that Bloodshot number 5 is... I'm super stoked for it because of where number 4 ended. We've got Bloodshot, realizing he's got this organization behind him, all these resources, and he can finally do what he wants to do. And what he decides to do is try to save Eidolon from becoming what he is. And I think that that's such a compelling story, and it's being told in such badass action that I couldn't be more excited about it. And then Rye number 2 was probably my favorite single issue of 2019. And I can't imagine what's going to come next.
Yeah, I think I like Rye just a hair better than Bloodshot, and Bloodshot's awesome. So I think that should tell you about what next week could be like for this. 2 books that we're both, all 3 of us are just pumped for.
Be careful about that Bloodshot comment. You might not be friends with Eric after that.
What?
I'm just kidding. I said, be careful about that Bloodshot. You might not be Facebook friends with Eric next week.
Unfriended. Oh, man.
Yes.
Fighting words.
Well, yeah. But tune in next week because this will definitely be a good episode.
Absolutely.
You hear all 3 of us drool about how great these books are.
Yeah. And it's always fun to get, such awesome books. Like I said, Ride number 2, one of my absolute favorite books of 2019.
I think it got my vote for best single issue.
Yeah.
Mine too.
In the Get Valiant Awards.
So, but that's why I would actually not even, it doesn't bug me if Josh likes Rye a little bit more than Bloodshot. I can handle that because I didn't pick a Bloodshot issue for my favorite single issue of 2019. As much as I love this current Bloodshot series.
Very true.
That Rye number 2, wow.
And I think we have the advanced copy already of Rye 3. I just haven't read it.
Yeah.
Oh, if we do, I don't know.
I feel like I've read Bloodshot number 5 already too.
I might have it.
Yeah, we do. We do. I've read it. It's awesome.
Oh, well,
come on.
Where have I been?
Can I give it a 5 right now? Go pick it up.
Okay, so next week we're only going to talk about Bloodshot then.
Yeah, well, I'm down.
I already scored it. But next week, Eric might have this. So he might not even talk. He's going to be sitting there going, like playing with it the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's not a toy. It says it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a toy, so I will be, I don't know, utilizing the features of my movable sculpture.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes, that's what I will be doing. Man, I think, like Scott said, 2020 is an exciting year. I think that this Bloodshot.
And you know what? If you don't like the ball Bloodshot, get a Sharpie. You can color his hair in. Maybe even get like a dry erase marker so that you can go back and forth between Harry Bloodshot and not Harry Bloodshot.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be cool if you dipped him in water and he turned white, and then you took him out and he was like skin would change, like a old tie-dye shirt or whatever. Not tie-dye, but hypercolor shirts. Be kind of cool.
Oh, I think there was like either a Ninja Turtle or a He-Man figure that would do that too. If you put them in the water, their body color changed. Oh. Or maybe you could turn a part of his body and it's like battle damage, like bullets and shit.
Yeah. That.
Come on, Diane. I hope you're listening. Tell Todd McFarlane to do that shit.
Right?
Yeah. I'm just so happy we got an action figure. I couldn't be happier, and a good one. It's a good one. I could actually have it.
It's legit, dude.
Yeah.
Like it is a legit one. Absolutely. So.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have mine, and we all still had pretty good scores. I mean, even though we didn't perfectly love PSI-LORDS number 8, I think this was still a good week. We actually got a book after a couple weeks of not getting a book, so that's nice. We've got 2 amazing books coming next week. We've got Hooser has a Bloodshot. We've got new books coming. Final Witness looks like it's going to be awesome. I mean, even though we know very little about it, but it's going to be awesome. Rye 3, Bloodshot 5 going to be amazing. I think that we've got a lot of good things to look forward to in 2020. I can't wait. I'm curious to see, what are the next big announcements going to be, because they keep talking about, most of what we've heard, Ninjak and Harbinger and all these things are pretty much the first half of the year. So I'm really curious to see.
I bet there's a convention coming up in about 2 months where they start dropping some hints as to what's going to happen in the second half of 2020. Absolutely. What do you think, Hooser?
I don't know.
I think we might hear it about this little thing. Well, man, C2E2's next month, and then you got Emerald City Comic Con in March. Yeah. March 13th, I believe. Where
through the 16th.
Through the 16th, but the 13th, a little thing's coming out that Friday the 13th.
What is it that's happening on that 13th? I can't remember.
You're gonna go see me at the movie theater, bitch.
Oh man!
But it's
terrible.
Gonna be
absolutely
a good
time.
Terrible. I hope for your sake it sucks, Eric. Okay, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to.
I cannot wait for the Bloodshot movie, but
trailer. Extended scenes at the Bad Boys trailer this weekend. So there's
that's right.
Bloodshot trailer, extended scenes. Dinesh tweeted that out. So you guys go watch Bad Boys. Let us know what you think. Comment below or whatever. Facebook us at the Facebook, the Book of Faces, and let us know if you saw that trailer and what you thought.
I might have to go to Bad Boys because I still haven't gotten to see the Bloodshot trailer on the big screen.
Bring your GoPro.
Come on, dude. Bad Boys for life, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, what's that? NWO, right?
Terrible.
NWO.
That's right. Wolfpack.
Woo! But that's the way we do it.
All right.
Awesome.
So anyway.
Oh, make sure you're on WhoDooTV. Get Valiant on WhoDooTV. New home. Glad to have you guys on here.
We moved.
You'll see some more videos from WhoDooTV, review videos, and then you'll have live with Get Valiant every Wednesday. So.
Absolutely. We're happy to be here on WhoDooTV. I think it's awesome. And hopefully everybody and more will come back next week and hang out with us and talk about the awesome issues that we're getting. Thanks again to everybody joining us in the live chat, Connection to the World, Scott Bloom. I don't even remember everybody that was on.
The comic board.
Oh, yes, the comic board was on as well. But regardless, thanks everybody watching, listening after the fact, and everybody that is participating in the show live. We, like I said, going to be back with episode 146 next week, Ride 3, Bloodshot number 5. Signing off.